A home is so much more than boards and nails, and at the heart of it is the kitchen. It's where Mom taught you to make some of Grandma's greatest recipes, and it's where the best stories start and finish. Today I'm inviting you in to enjoy some amazing food and to learn what makes this house a home. Hey y'all, welcome to our kitchen. Today we're in a beautiful custom home in Santa Ana, Louisiana, which is situated just in the middle of Baton Rouge in New Orleans. And I have with me the homeowner, Brandi. Thank you so much for allowing us to cook in your kitchen today.
Thank you.
And this home was actually built by Mastercraft Builders. They're a custom home builder in the Ascension Parish in Southeast Louisiana area. And we are also going to be moving into the Texas market soon, which is why we're choosing today to cook some Tex-Mex.
Yay.
Okay. Are you ready? Because I know you're from Louisiana. Are you originally from Louisiana?
I am.
But you don't like seafood.
I do not like
Don't like seafood. So that's why we thought that we'd do something a little bit different, bring a little bit of Texas into the Louisiana kitchen and talk a little bit about this home, what you put into it when you were building it, all the inspiration you had, and what actually went into the final build. So, okay, so if you're ready, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with making the marinade. So the marinade, this is going to really help us make sure that the chicken is very moist. And especially if we're using chicken thighs today, which tend to be a little bit moister anyway. But when you're using chicken breast, because it's a chicken that can like dry out very easily, then this marinade really comes into play and it really helps just keep those juices and everything in there. Awesome. So we're gonna get started with that. So as I'm prepping this, I would love for you to tell me a little bit about why you wanted this particular design. What came into mind when you decided to build your home?
When we first started looking at houses, I was really just attracted to the modern farmhouse style, and it just reminded me a little bit of something old and something new, and I just like combining the two together, and it just fit our personalities, and I thought it fit in well in Louisiana with a farmhouse.
It does. It's definitely a Louisiana farmhouse look, from that big front porch to the big back porch that you have, which I absolutely love. And then throughout the home, there's a lot of brick. There's a lot of wood, which has this very kind of homey feel. You automatically feel at home when you walk into the house. And I'm all about that exposed brick and the wood. So I really love it. But what were some things like you just could not do without?
I absolutely love my pot filler in my kitchen. And I knew I had to have shiplap. I love the shiplap. It, again, is something a little old mixed with some new. That's why we have the modern touches with the gold, and but we have the old touches with the shiplap and the subway tile.
Right, and did you get that from a lot of like HGTV? Are you a big fan of Chip and Joanna?
And a lot of Pinterest.
Yes. So that's what I think a lot of people do in the beginning, is they get a Pinterest board and they start pinning all the things that they really love.
Yes.
So is that what you started out doing?
Yes.
Is trying to find
started on
inspiration?
Pinterest and it just grew from there. I looked at tons of floor plans and tons of design ideas and just picked out what I liked the best and what I was the most drawn to.
Right. And this house, tell us a little bit about like the size. How many bedrooms do you have? What are some elements, like do you have a game room or an office that you really needed to have or you wanted to have?
Yeah, so we have a large family. We have 5 children, and so we knew we needed a big home to fit all of us in comfortably. And it's 3,400 square feet, and we have 4 bedrooms and 3 full baths and a half bath. And we also have an office and a playroom for the kids, because they needed a place to go to. And one of the things that I wanted most in a house was a mudroom area for them to drop everything when they come in from school and store their book sacks and keep that out of sight so that it's not so cluttered.
And you have an incredible mudroom, because I went in there and took a look at it. So everything you can shut the doors to, which is amazing, because my kids come in, and I have 5 kids too, although 3 are grown right now. They're still grown. And I mean, everything gets thrown down right there when they enter it. So it's nice to have that so that you can put everything away, but still shut it. So nobody has to see just how messy kids can be. So I absolutely love that. And I'm seeing that a lot lately. That's one of those things people have to have.
They really want in the house,
have to have in their home. So I actually really love that. And what about your game room? Are there any elements or anything that you have there? Is it just, you know, you want a big TV, you want lots of room for seating?
It's mostly just for our younger girls, their play area. It's houses all of their toys to keep it all out of the bedroom so that whenever they go to bed, they can go to sleep, and we can shut the door to the playroom, close all the toys off so that they're not in eyesight and everyone's looking at them and it's the center of attention. So there's a TV in there, there's a sofa in there, and all of their toys in there so they have their own space and they don't have to be in with the adults all the time.
Right, and I like that too. Having a little peace and quiet for ourselves is really nice.
Yes, it is.
So before I go any further, I want to explain kind of what we've done so far. So I have about a half a cup of olive oil. I have about a fourth a cup of the liquid smoke, which is really just going to infuse it with some hickory taste. Then we have a tablespoon of soy sauce. I started off with the olive oil and then the Dijon mustard. I have 2 tablespoons of that, and then we're going to put a little bit of cumin in there. So again, we're going to mix it all up, and then we're going to start marinating the chicken in it so that those flavors kind of just infuse it so it's really moist. And so I really like. So we're going to do that real quick. And if I could get you right now to cut up the orange in half and also a lime, because we're going to use it in there.
You just want it halved?
Yeah, just do that because we're going to just use the juice of it. So do you like to cook? I mean, you have an absolutely gorgeous kitchen.
I do not.
No.
I do not like to cook, and my poor family, you know, they just have to suffer through it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I do the best that I can, but I am not a great cook.
Right. Well, you know what? I think one of these things, the nicer kitchen you have, the more apt you're actually going to go in there and you're going to cook.
Yeah.
Or try to cook. I know my kids were, when we redid our kitchen, that's one of the things that I really wanted to put in there. I have the pot filler, I have a big stove. And you know, the space, so they could go up there and they can start cooking or baking. Like, kids love to be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they love to cook. So I was happy to let my kids have at it because sometimes that meant I didn't have to cook.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like the kids eat it more if they've helped cook it. They're more likely to eat it.
I know.
I don't know. I guess they feel like they had a little hand in there.
They do. And they have all of the, like you say, they have Food Network, all the YouTube channels where they're seeing other people do these things in cooking. So kids these days are really into that and doing those things themselves. So we're going to put our chicken in here. Again, I have some chicken thighs. And I just find I like them better for fajitas because they're more moist than the actual chicken breast. Because chicken breast, you have to really get the thin ones in order for it to, you know, not to dry out, to be able to cook it really quickly and get it off of there. So we're going to go ahead and do this really quickly and let it marinate for a bit. Okay, so we have all our vegetables chopped up, so we're just going to keep those to the side right now. And our chicken, typically what we'd want to do is have it marinated for a longer period of time. I find that with chicken thighs, they don't have to marinate as long, but we would put it in the refrigerator. So I'm just going to set this aside, and what we're going to start doing is working on our side of guac. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to set this over here. We're good for now, so we're going to start with our avocados. And while we're doing that, tell us a little bit about like the process and everything that you went through with, you know, when you started designing your homes. Were the things that you thought about in the beginning that you put aside and said, that's just not for me, and did more kind of inspiration come along in the process? Or you pretty much knew when those plans were drawn that this is it, this is all I want?
I had done a lot of research before on layouts of what would work best for our family, and the house actually started off on a piece of copy paper that I had drawn the layout on. Yes, and then I bought an app and I put it on my phone, and then I kind of detailed it a little more from there, and that's what I took to our architect and had him base the floor plan for the house off of. And obviously we had to tweak a little things, and because I don't know enough to make room for plumbing and all of those kind of things, so I needed his expertise on that kind of stuff. But it was really neat to watch the house come from that piece of paper to what it is now. It's like watching your baby grow up a little bit, you know? Yeah, so it was really neat to watch all that happen and it play out. And then we knew we wanted to have a hand in the building process. My husband's very handy, so we knew we wanted to find a contractor that would really work with us on letting us put our touches in too, and letting us kind of help, I guess you would say, with the building process. And so that's whenever we found Bobby, and he helped us really along, and he worked really good with us. We just loved working with him, and it was easy to do, and it was a fun process.
Right, and so if someone else is really curious, they're ready to start that building process or the planning process, and they're thinking about contacting a contractor or two to interview them. What are some of the things that you asked, other than, like you said, you wanted to do some of that work yourself, and they were very open to that. But there are other things that were really, you wanted to make sure that they knew or that they could do for you that were important?
We really wanted to make sure that our contractor was willing to work with us as a family, and our kids were always on the job site, and so it had to be someone that was going to be family oriented a little bit, and someone that we felt like we could really communicate well with. You really want to click with your contractor. It's not, when you come away from the process of building a house, you've really built a relationship with your contractor. It's not just a working environment, really. You become a friend to them really through the process, because it's not something that just happens quickly. It's something that happens over a long period of time, and so you have a lot of interaction with that person. So you want to make sure it's someone that you just really have good communication with, and it makes everything else run much more smoother.
That's perfect. And I think too, for those of us that have kids, to have them as part of that process is just beautiful, because 15, 20 years from now, we can look back on it and remember that, maybe they nailed this in or helped lay this or something like that. And that being a part of that process is beautiful. And that connection with your contractor, I think, is very important, because builds don't always go smoothly. There's some things that happen along the way.
Definitely.
So it's really important to have somebody, I think, that you can trust. And that communication, that line of communication is always open. It makes it so much easier.
Definitely.
And I'm glad that Mastercraft did that for you. So.
Yes. We would definitely love to work with them again in the future on different projects. Maybe we'll build another house one day, and they'll
you got
definitely
lots
be
of
our
kids
number one.
that need houses, right? Down the road.
One day this house is what fits us now, and maybe one day when our children are grown and bigger, we won't need quite as much space, and we may do something a little smaller.
Exactly. I love that. So let's get on to our next component of this meal. We're going to make some homemade guac, which I absolutely love. And I think, do you like avocados? Do you like guacamole?
I will eat guacamole, yes. It's not one of my favorites, but I do eat it.
Oh, good. So it's a healthy side.
Yes.
I really love it. And the true test of this is to make sure these are very ripe. So with these, I made sure that they were a little squishy, and you can tell just by the ends of it that they're ripe. So they're very easy to cut into, very easy to mash, which is all part of it, so that you're not sitting there constantly like pushing down. But we have our avocados, and we're going to use the Roma tomatoes. We're going to dice these up, put those in there. We have a little garlic, a little lime juice, and some cumin and salt and pepper, and so it's really very simple. So let's go ahead and do that before we get our chicken on the grill.
Okay.
Okay, so we've already gotten our guacamole done. So now it's time to take our chicken, move it to the stove, and then cook our vegetables so that we can start eating soon. Are you ready?
Awesome, yes.
Okay, let's go on over here. I want to thank y'all so much for being here with us today. And most of all, I wanted to thank Brandi for being gracious enough to allow us to come down to Southeast Louisiana and cook in her kitchen. So thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, I enjoyed it. So we're going to go ahead and eat. And just, you know, if you wanted to do this at home, but you want to make a little bit of a Louisiana flair to it, something that if we had time today, I would have loved to have done. But if you've ever heard of tres leches cake, which is in Texas, it essentially means 3 milks that they make it up. So you have like evaporated milk, condensed milk, and heavy cream. And you can actually make it into a bread pudding. So I wanted to do that today. We didn't get to, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that recipe on our blog and on our website. So next time you do it, you may wanna do that. So thanks so much, guys, and stay safe.